Hello and welcome back to Gooner Gathering. It's been a while since I was on a video, but I'm here, and also here is Sam Wilson. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good.
Okay, excellent. This is, of course, the preview show for the upcoming North London derby on Sunday. Hopefully, we will be expecting Jenna, who is a Tottenham fan, at some point. She is from the Wrestle Dogs house, but hopefully she'll be here at some point. But until then, it's me and Sam talking about many things involving good old Arsenal Football Club. And we're going to start. We'll talk about the North London derby in a minute. But we will start with some news that came out yesterday. And it is, there they are. There are the Chuckle Brothers right here. Mikel Arteta has got a, I believe, 3-year contract extension. And I forgot how much money he's on, but it's a lot. I think he's the second highest paid manager in the league. Now, I think you know what my thoughts are on this. I'd said if he actually won something this season, I would have extended his contract, as he could have been easily rewarded with that. But when you've won one piece of silverware in 5 years, and that piece of silverware is from a squad that basically wasn't really yours, you've built the team in your image and have won nothing since, you start to ask a bit of questions. Sam, what are your thoughts on Super Duper Mick getting a contract extension?
See, it puts what I wanted to happen down the drain straight away, because I said at the end of this year, if the end of this season, if he hasn't won anything, then we need to not sack him, but start asking some questions. Now, if he goes to the end of this season, we can still ask those questions, but they'll be falling on deaf ears now. So, it's a weird one. I was trying to look on. Okay, so that was my answer to my question. So, Lee's, but bearing in mind his contract would have expired at the end of the season. Well, at the end of the season, then see what he's done and then decide if you're going to give him a contract.
If he didn't win anything at the end of the season, I'd let him go. I would have.
So, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird time to announce it when we're sat here wondering if we're going to have a starting 11 to play on Sunday. And yeah, I just think they wanted to put something out when the land of us isn't looking amazing at the moment.
No, absolutely. And I just, considering our next 3 games are Tottenham away, Atalanta away, and Man City away. If we lose some of those games, or worst case scenario, it's a three-peat of losses, and that's after Mikel Arteta has signed a new contract, it is going to look so embarrassing and so bad. It's just going to be, we're going to be left with so much egg on our face. Gooner Gathering says, wouldn't it have given the squad a boost for the North London derby? It wouldn't have made a difference whatsoever, because Arteta would have been in charge for this season anyway. And I always said his contract extension would have been decided if he won a trophy. It doesn't make a difference whatsoever.
But I know it's really early on. I know it's really early on in the season, but I look at these next 3 games as really important. If we beat Tottenham, then we can maybe afford a draw against City, potentially. Obviously, it's still not great.
Yeah.
But if we was to take all 3 points off Tottenham and then go to Man City and draw, that wouldn't be the end of the world. But I
agree with you there. But if we lose to Tottenham, then the City game is a must-win.
Yeah. I think we must. I think it's a must-win anyway. I think it's a must-win that we win both, really, just to set ourselves up if we're going to really take this serious. Because you don't want to start dropping points like we already have this season and so early on.
And with Arteta's new contract, people can say trust the process all they want, but he must deliver. He must deliver silverware. There's no excuses now. And if we don't, it'll come to the point where some of the good players like Saliba or Gabriel might go, why am I wasting my time in a club not winning anything? I'm going to go off to Real Madrid or somewhere like that. That's my worry. But yeah, and Una Gathering says, surely we have to win. There's the City game. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But look, we have to beat Tottenham. We've got to focus on that. We've got to focus on that game. And that is what we're going to talk about now. So the North London derby is coming up a lot earlier than I'd have thought, but it's good to get these games out of the way. I don't know what team some of our fans are going to support, considering how much they bent over for Tottenham during the end of last season when they played Man City, North London United and all that. I wonder if that derby's going to mean anything now. Anyway, but it is going to happen. And it doesn't look that good for us. Let's be honest. Declan Rice is suspended. Odegaard is injured. There's debate on whether Calafiori will play. How do you see the team lining up, Sam?
I don't really know, to be honest.
It's the other team.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because we've got a small squad anyway. We've got the smallest squad in the league from what I heard last week. So when you've got a game on Sunday, a game on Thursday, and then another game over the weekend, not sure what day the City game is.
Sunday.
That's 3 games that you want your best squad in. Whether we have our best team in any of them is yet to be seen, because I don't think, obviously Declan Rice will be back for the Atalanta game, so that's something. But we're still stuck with that. Right, what do we do when Odegaard's not there? So this is the weird one. I'm hearing lots of different things. I'm hearing that Nwari will start, which
no, he won't.
Is hopefully someone's put that on Twitter and somebody's taken note of it, because
these Arsenal fans on Twitter believe anything. So
yeah, but you know what's going to happen if he was to play? Let's just say that he does play. If he has a bad game, then these fans that are really fickle on Twitter will start calling him and say, "Oh, he's not that good. He's not what he should be." And then that'll knock his confidence, and he probably won't be the same player again. So I hope Mikel Arteta completely avoids that, because he needs to come into a game like, I don't know, maybe Atalanta,
Carabao Cup against Bolton,
or Carabao Cup game or something, not an North London derby but that. So I don't really know, to be honest. I would have thought he'll play Partey and Jorginho in CDM, but I'm not too sure whether I'm that happy about that, because they're both kind of sit where they are and defend.
That's all we've got. So
it is, but it worries me, because you've got then nothing coming forward from that part of midfield. They'll just have to sit. And then we've got, do we drop Havertz back into midfield? We've got, do we play Trossard up front? Do we play Jesus up front? Is he fit?
Well, Jesus is scheduled to return, and he'll be fit for the North London derby. AFC Always is in the chat. Good to see you, sir. And Emerson has given us his team that he'd play, or maybe his prediction for the team. David Raya, White, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Partey, Jorginho, Sterling, Saka, Havertz, and Trossard. This is what the team... I'm sorry, but this is what I think is going to be the team. It'll be, the same back four, because I don't know about Calafiori, Partey, Jorginho in midfield. It's going to be Saka, Havertz, and Trossard, and Jesus up front. That's the team I think is going to happen. It'll be completely unadventurous from Arteta. And with Havertz in midfield against Tottenham, I'm sorry, that's no. The last few times Havertz has been in midfield, he's not been good. His better position is up front. but I just think he's going to play in midfield. And as AFC always says, this is what happens when you don't have a proper transfer window. Your squad isn't equipped to deal with injuries and suspensions. The fans can go, oh, it's the international break and all that. No, you can blame international football you want. We didn't have any depth whatsoever. And our squad is the smallest it's been since back in the 70s when you were only allowed one sub.
But we did say this a few weeks ago, didn't we? When we were speaking about the Brighton game, and before that, we've said that if we get 1 or 2 injuries, we're in real trouble, and that's the real trouble that we find ourselves in.
I said if Odegaard gets injured, it's done. Yeah. And look, Odegaard's injured, so
that's the trouble that we're in after like the 3rd game week or something daft. So yeah, I think we need to buckle up. I think it's going to be a long season.
No, absolutely. I just have without being too much of the prophet of doom, I have a feeling that we're going to end up doing what Liverpool did 2 seasons ago, where everyone thinks we're going to be in the top 2, but we just flounder in 5th and 6th. That is, if we get more injuries. That is. So hopefully I'm wrong and we actually compete properly for the title. But with a squad as small as us, it's going to be easier said than done. Lee says they won't throw Jesus straight in. We'll have to wait and see. Our squad is wafer thin, and knowing Arteta, who knows what he'll do.
Our bench is going to look good, isn't it? That's what I thought as well. Our bench is going to look amazing.
Yeah, we've got squad depth. Apparently, we have the hungriest sports people who own the club. Yes, no wonder why they're hungry. They've not been feasting on any trophies for 5 years. Of course they'll be hungry. No, I mean, if they were hungry, they would have said, win something this season, Mikel, otherwise you're out and we'll get a more experienced manager in. But obviously not. The Cronkies are happy with top 4, which is just not ambitious enough. But I don't know. So we've mentioned the team news involving us. It looks like it's going to be advantage Spurs because I was told, I saw it on the reliable sources on the internet, that Mickey van der Ven and Dominic Solanke will be back for the North London derby. Yes, a very good defender in Van der Ven and a proper striker in Solanke. A striker who scored more goals than Havertz last season, by the way, but you won't hear any of that from our fans. I just think that because Tottenham have an actual striker in their team and the likes of James Maddison, Heung-min Son in there as well, with us being injury hit, do you think they've got the advantage here?
I'm not sure about the advantage, but I think I tried to put myself into Tottenham's shoes at the minute and think they've got to feel confident going in. Yeah, they've got to. If I was Tottenham, I would feel confident coming to play us at this minute in time. Like it's not like we're going to be able to put our strongest 11 out. So I think they'll think that we're there for the taking, to be honest.
AFC always, it says, with the injuries we have the team to beat Tottenham still. I hope you're right. If it was at the Emirates, maybe I'd be a bit more okay. But it's at as Hawkwind says, it's at the Toilet Bowl Stadium. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to be like with those injuries and facing a rapturous crowd away from home. Hawkwind, by the way, good to see you. I think you might be a new name in the chat. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you very much for joining us. Remind me, if you're talking to me, yes, I support Arsenal, but I'm not going to be a deluded fan going, we're the best team ever and we're going to win everything. We're going to win the Champions League. It's all brilliant. Way! Oh, Super Zinchenko playing at left back. No, I'm being realistic. I'm not going to be one of those fans that are going to be, have their head in the sand all the time. I'm just, it's going to be very tough because we've got an injury-hit squad and Tottenham have got their players coming back from injury. So it's going to be easier said than done to win. That's nothing to do with me turning my back on my club. I'd never do that. But I'm just telling the truth. AFC always says it's a must-win game. If I'm honest, it is, because our next game in the league is away at Man City, and if we don't win, I mean the City game's a must-win anyway. But if we don't win against Tottenham, yeah, the Etihad game becomes make or break in game week 5, don't you think, Sam?
It does, yeah. I still think we have got enough. I don't want to completely say it's in their court, because I still do think we've got enough to beat them. It just depends if these players that maybe aren't going to start every week can actually do the business when they're called upon. I suppose it's going to be lots of big moments for the players that might not see first team football every week. It's time for them to step up and show why they're in the squad, isn't it? So, yeah, I do certainly think, to be honest, I think if you're going to be serious about having a title challenge, you've got to win both. Like you just have.
Yeah.
This early on in the season, you can't be dropping any points, really. So, regardless of who it is you're playing, I know it's Man City, the team we're potentially going to be competing against, but this early on, you've got to be winning every single game. You can't be dropping points now, really.
Yeah, absolutely, because by the next 2 weeks, Man City might be 8 points in front of us. Maybe even more. I'm not sure. I think it might be 8, but yeah, so it'll be an uphill battle already. Is there any particular Tottenham player that you're concerned about that might be a key player for them and that might cause problems for us?
Well, I do think, I don't know. See, that's the one thing I feel all right about, is that I don't particularly worry about any player in general, because our defence is what it is. It's the best it's been for a very long time. So I don't necessarily
making great saves.
Yeah, I don't necessarily fear anyone as such. Son always seems to turn up when he plays us. He seems to be like 20 times the player he is normally. Maddison last year, before he went off injured, was running the game completely. And probably the reason why we went on to win that is when he went off, because we then found loads more space. So, and in that midfield is a little bit where it's worrying. Up front and defence is okay. It's just how much space that Maddison might have in that midfield that's a little bit concerning.
Okay. Who would you? I mean, Emerson mentioned his starting 11. I talked about mine. Who would you start against Tottenham? Who would fill the Odegaard and Rice shaped holes in our team?
I think he'll go with, if Calafiori was fully fit, he might have a shout to play in midfield, or Timber. But I think we're going to need both of them. Calafiori might not even be fit, but we're certainly going to need Timber in the defence, we think. So I think the only logical solution to that is to play Partey and Jorginho, which doesn't fill me with massive amounts of confidence.
Midfield pivot. Well, it's the only thing that we have, really. I mean, people are saying Timber will play in midfield. I don't know where they got that from. Has he played in midfield before? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he's played across the back line, but I'm not sure he's ever played in like CDM. So yeah, I think that's the only choices you've got. Then you look at who is a natural cam, and there isn't one. Like you said about Havertz, that's potentially the only one I'd put there. Not because I'd want to, but I don't see that anyone else could fill that position, to be honest. So I don't think we've got anybody else that could play there. So that's where so I put him there just because I don't know who else is there that we can put in. And then I think you've got a couple of options. If you do that, you can play one or two up front, can't you? You could either play Trossard up front or Martinelli up front, and then whoever you put up front out of those two, the other one goes to the wing. So I don't know. I would maybe say let's have it a little bit different, and let's have our Martinelli up front. Why not?
I know, Tottenham have the high line, in the team, so you got to have your pacey players to try and exploit that. So maybe Martinelli might be a good option, but Martinelli's been very, not exactly the best this season so far. By the way, Lee Meadows has tried to gotcha me here because he sent me a photo of some stats comparing Kai Havertz to Dominic Solanke, and that Havertz has scored 34 goals and Solanke has scored 29. Bit of a schoolboy error there, Mr. Meadows. This is under all seasons. I was talking about last season when Solanke got more goals than Kai Havertz. So you come for me, you best not miss, my friend. We briefly mentioned David Raya when I said he made great saves. Did you know that he got Save of the Month?
Yes, he did.
I don't know what for. Was it the Aston Villa one?
I would imagine so. I don't think there's any more that are that spectacular compared to that.
Because there were in the Wolves game and the Brighton game, he made 2 excellent saves. Let me have a look to see which one it was. I assume it was Aston Villa. Yes, David Raya versus Aston Villa. I think that was well deserved because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
RKO.
It's he doesn't really get many plaudits as well. He kind of goes, because of our defence, he kind of goes underneath the radar a little bit because our defence is so good. But the reason as well that we don't concede many goals is that he's definitely proven why he was picked by Arteta.
Yeah, absolutely. Comment here from AFC always. Remember when we were 8 points clear of Man City in March? There's no way we'll be catching Man City if they're 8 points in front of us. It's a case of us having to rely on them to drop points again. And when we usually rely on them to drop points, it never happens. So who knows? They could catch our Invincibles unbeaten season if we're not careful. Wonderful reaction save from a quality goalkeeper. Yes, I agree. Funny that, because I was constantly told by some of the pro Ramsdale lovers that Raya only gets looks like a good goalkeeper because he gets saved by our defence. Well, that's been put to bed, hasn't it? AFC always has put his starting 11: Raya, White, Gabriel, Timber. Oh yeah, Saliba, Jorginho, Partey, Havertz. Would you start Sterling for this game?
I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. Up front is something that we've been doing okay with, so I don't really think we need to change it that much. I don't think I'm not a big fan of him walking straight in. I'm more of a fan of him maybe coming on, because obviously he's not been at his best for quite a while either. So I'm not sure I'm a big fan of him starting, to be honest. How about you? What do you think about
that? I'd still go with Saka and Trossard. A lot of people are saying, start Martinelli because of his pace. But as AFC always says, we can't start Martinelli. He's been terrible. I know people say, Tottenham have a high line. They can't, Martinelli will be fast and exploit it. No, we've got to have our big game player, Leandro Trossard, in there because it's games like this where he'll thrive. Sterling can come off the bench if Saka's looking knackered, or maybe in another attacking position, who knows. Guna Gathering says, I'm starting Sterling with Saka and Havertz, Trossard in Odegaard's position. Okay, fair enough. But I just think
it could be literally anything, couldn't it? That's the thing.
And also from Lee, shall we address the elephant in the room, my voice? Yes, Lee's not here because he's a little bit, he says he talks about elephants, but he's a little bit hoarse because his voice is not the best. But I have strong word that he will be back for the watch-along for the Tottenham game. Yes, we are doing a watch-along on Sunday on this very channel. I'm sure it's going to get very spicy. And yes, I'm dreading / looking forward to it. Dreading it because of the game, looking forward to it because I get to spend quality time with Mr. Meadows. AFC always says Trossard will leave in January, and you watch, we'll sell him for about 12 million. Trossard, I don't think he won't leave in January. If we don't win anything this season, he might be one of the players that will go, hang on, what am I doing here? I want to go to a club that wins more. But I can't see him leaving in January. And there's no way. If we sell him for 12 million, then I will personally protest outside the Emirates with a big placard saying Edu out. I'm surprised I've not done it anyway. Yeah. Do you see all that about Trossard getting a bid from Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
I don't really believe
I never really worried about it that much. I never really worried about it that much because I think he's fairly happy where he is. I don't think he's one of these players that'll go chasing money for the sake of it, like some of them have. The only thing I was speaking to someone the other day, and this is my only hope for us winning the league, is that we can somehow keep picking up points until January, and then January the checkbook comes out and we sign a striker. Then we have a chance. That's my only chance currently this season. Apart from that, I'm not really that confident at all.
There's a bigger chance of me becoming the world's slimmest man than Arsenal buying players in January. And so I don't think that'll happen, I'm afraid. AFC always, he's got an exclusive here. He said Trossard went to his agent and asked for a move to the Saudis. Do you know that yourself? Do you know Trossard's agent? I mean, I don't know. These are all rumours at the moment, but I wasn't seeing too much into Trossard going to Saudi Arabia anyway. And as Gooner Gathering says, Trossard is too far important to leave in January. Absolutely. Like I said, it's games like Sunday where we need him. Big game player, as I always say. So I think that's all I can think of in terms of talking about the Spurs game. Hopefully Jenna will probably join us, hopefully, in a minute. I don't know. Apparently Trossard is not happy. Well, I don't know. I mean, based on his celebration against Villa, if you're reading too much into it, but no, I don't know.
He seems to be unhappy to me when he plays his football. Like, you can normally tell if a player's unhappy at a football club. It's never struck me that he was once unhappy, but again, I don't know him personally, so I couldn't really tell you, I'm afraid.
And Lee Meadows says, an official bid went in and rejected immediately. Yep, that's the right decision. We cannot lose Trossard, especially with the depth that we have at the moment.
I don't think there was much to it because I literally only saw it once. I saw it once on a tweet, I think, and that was it. So normally if something is going to happen or is close to happen, you would normally hear about it more than once. And I didn't hear it any more than once.
Against Brighton, he was awful. Well, he only had about 60 minutes and got taken off for California when we went down to 10 men. Yep, going down to 10 men, takes off an attacker, brings on a defender.
Everybody was pretty naff.
Everyone was poor in that game, let's be honest. So switching from the Tottenham game here, there's another thing that is on the notes, and it's something that has been ruffling a lot of feathers from a lot of Arsenal fans on the internet, which doesn't take a lot, let's be honest. And it's something that Robert Pires said. He did someone was asking him about players, Saka or this player. Would you prefer Saka or this player? And it came down to Saka versus Jeremy Doku for Man City. And Pires said that Doku is better than Bukayo Saka. Now, this, of course, got so many Arsenal fans angry. They wanted him cancelled. They wanted him banned from the Emirates Stadium. It's just look, I disagree with what Robert Pires said. I think Saka's the better player. However, I respect his right to have an opinion. even though his opinion is the wrong one. But I am not one of those people that's going to get so offended every time someone says that another player is better than this Arsenal player. I think there are bigger things in the world to worry about. Well, what do you think about what Pires said? Is that what? Do you have strong feelings about this, or are you like me and could not give a toss?
Well, for one, I don't really care about his opinion. He's very wrong. And I pretty much would say I'm pretty much the same in saying that even if you asked a Man City fan between the two, they would probably tell you that Saka's the better player. So it's a bit of a bizarre one. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, to be honest. None at all.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Mr. Meadows.
So yeah, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. And also, is there a video of him saying it? Because we all know that.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there is. Fair enough. I was going to say, you all know how things can be said and then they've never been said in the first place.
Yeah. But no, it has happened. So this is another bit where it's a good job I've got you here, because Kira Walsh was going to go from Barcelona to Arsenal, but it turns out the deal has not been done. Sam, you're going to know more about this than me. What are your thoughts on this?
So, I'll go back to a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, before all these rumours even happened, I heard that Kira Walsh, obviously an England international, wasn't very happy in Spain and wanted to come back to England. So that's what I heard. Arsenal have apparently gone in, because it's deadline day for the women's today. They've apparently gone in with a record-breaking bid of... It sounds nuts that this is a record-breaking bid, but this is just how women's football is. 325k, which is nuts for a record-breaking bid when we look at men's football. But they have...
Can't even get a non-league player for that money in the men's game.
I know, anymore. It's crazy, isn't it? And they've said big fat no. So that's a shame. I hadn't really heard anything about it until today. Obviously, it would have been a really good addition, but it looks like she's staying at Barcelona. But I think she's on the last year of a contract as well, so she'll walk on a free. So it seems ridiculous when they could have got that money for him, money for her, and let her go on a free. We saw that with Russo. We've seen it with... It just seems ridiculous, but obviously it's going to happen. She's going to go on a free. Hopefully to us, but I don't know. Obviously, we'll find that out. I don't know what time it's finished. I doubt there'll be anything else. So yeah, that's that.
Can I ask, is Edu in charge of transfers in the women's team?
Probably. He probably chirps. It
does not surprise me in the slightest.
He probably chips in now and again and says, "Oh, you shouldn't really sign anybody at all, really. We need to keep all that money in the pocket."
Are you paying the money? Sorry, where are the add-ons? Where are the installments? Hang on, no, we're doing it this way. Oh, the deal failed. Oh.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you get me involved in transfers. They always fail. Oh, yes.
God. I was on Uncle Rod's show last night, and they talked about this rumor that Liverpool were going to have a 160 million bid for Mbappe last season. And I can imagine that if this was true, I can imagine Edu doing it. It would have been like 90 million plus 50 million in installments or something.
Yeah, £1 a week for the next 46 years.
Do you remember the 40 million and one extra pound bid for Luis Suarez?
Oh, God.
That was pre-Edu as well.
It was, but at the time, apparently, if we'd have put like a solid bid in of like 45, we'd have actually got him at that time.
Yeah.
It was because we was so like big-headed to put in the pound that they got peed off of us and didn't sell him.
Yeah, Guna Gathering says Walsh is playing for Brighton tonight. I'm assuming you're talking about Kira, not Louis Walsh or someone like that.
So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. But we move. They've got the first leg out of the two-legged game for qualifying on Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
And then Arsenal women have got Man City, haven't they? Next week, they're on the same day as Arsenal men's have Man City. So, how many goals is Vivian Miedemar going to score?
Probably 5.
Should do a
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm really not looking forward to it because they've got 2 incredible strikers now, in Bunny Shaw and Miedemar. Both of them playing together is going to be dangerous. So, and yeah, I don't know if I told you about last game, but we had, I think you did say Brighton. To be fair,
Did I say Brighton? Did I say Brighton?
I think so.
We got to go to VAR on that. I think I said Barcelona. If I didn't, then if I did say Brighton, then I apologise. I got my teams wrong. I got my team beginning with B wrong. She's playing for Barcelona. I'm pretty sure I did say that. I might have to check the VAR at the end of the video. But yeah.
So I'll just I don't know if you've seen the little video I did. It wasn't very optimistic about the women's game, but in their Champions League game that they had, they won 1-0, but they had 31 shots in total. They had 5 on target and the rest were off target. Their possession for the whole game was 81%. So yeah, as I was watching it, it was giving me like very horrendous flashbacks to later on in the Wenger tendency when we would literally have about 40 attempts and not score once. It was also very much like it because we were literally waiting till we were on the goal line and we could tap it in before we actually took a shot. So it was a little bit frightening watching it, to be honest.
Emerson says no. Edu doesn't have any part in the ladies' transfers. Claire Wheatley and Jodie Taylor deal with transfers, and Walsh was playing for Barcelona tonight. Okay, so all right, good. Thank you very much, Emerson, for that. That is all I've got in my notes. Shall we have a prediction from you for the North London derby on Sunday?
I don't like doing predictions at all because if I get them wrong, I then blame myself. But for this one occasion,
that's the fun of it.
For this one occasion, I'll do one.
Thank you for your cooperation.
It will be either 2-1 or 3-1. I'm going to go with 2-1.
To who?
To us.
Okay. I went for on Uncle Rod's stream. I went for a very boring prediction. I went for 1-1 because with the injuries we have, Tottenham having their players back, I can't see. It's like I said, uphill battle. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we get the win, and that will be our 3rd win in a row at the Toilet Bowl Stadium, and I think it'll be the most amount of times we've beaten Tottenham at their ground than any other team have done. I think I saw something along the lines of that.
In more unfortunate news, I will unfortunately be making a trip there next July.
Oh God. Okay.
It's for a gig. Unfortunately, they find themselves getting lots of gigs at the minute, and it could have been anywhere in the world, but they chose that place. So it's not sitting very well with me at all that I'm going to have to go. I'm just going to have to turn up in my Arsenal kit, aren't I?
Absolutely. If you want anywhere, if you can't find anywhere to store your accessories, may I recommend the trophy cabinet there because it's very empty, very
I think
spacious.
I'm trying to think of ways that I can leave my mark on the stadium. To be fair, obviously, I don't really want to visit it anymore if I can help it. I didn't even really want to go in the first place. My friend said, "Do you want to go to this gig?" I said, "Yes," but do we have to really? Like, can't we just go somewhere else? Can't we go abroad to see them and not there? Like, I just don't want to have to go. But so yeah, but they're also on board with wearing an Arsenal kit, even though they're not an Arsenal fan. So they are
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
me, which is great.
Emerson says he's going to go for 2-2. Desmond. Gooner Gathering says 3-1 to Arsenal. Emerson says the under-18s play tomorrow at home to Southampton. If you'd like to do a match report on that tomorrow, Emerson, that would be lovely jubbly. And AFC always says, how many brown envelopes has Edu got? Too much to mention, my friend. I think that's it. This will probably be when Jenna joins, the moment we end the stream.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. But that's it from me. Sam, would you like to plug the Wrestle Dogs channel?
So obviously you can find me most Sundays on over at the Wrestle Dogs channel. I think I'm pretty sure if you watch both of the channels now, you'll have heard about each of the channels a lot and probably hear it going to sleep and stuff like that. So
that's what we want to get. We want to brainwash them.
Yeah, that's the attempt anyway. So yeah, that's me.
Yes, Wrestle Dogs. If you're a big wrestling fan, go and check out essentially our sister channel, Wrestle Dogs. Very good people. I've not been on there in a while. I should hopefully I'll be on there. I'll be on back there one day. It's about the brown envelopes comment. Thank you, Google Gathering. Great show. Thank you, AFC. Thanks. Always. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter or X at Posh Bertie, where I'm sure I'm going to be very active on Sunday. Well, maybe not so during the watch along, but you can find me on Instagram as well at Bertie Wanless, and I also run Gooner Gathering's Instagram account, which is at Gooner Gathering. We watch Arsenal, so you don't have to. You can find our founding father, Gooner Lee Meads, on Twitter at Gooner Lee Meads. Hopefully his voice would have recovered for tomorrow. Thank you for that comment, AFC always. Until next time, guys, we'll see you for the watch along. Take care. A winner is you.